Good morning, everyone. Today's the 2nd of October. The market's just open. Take a look at this SPY chart. We're already getting the crush pattern playing out. It is doing pretty much exactly what I suggested. Remember, we're looking for a buy zone eventually down in this lower range here. May not get this low. I've highlighted 4 areas. First area here at yellow is 565.97, which we just crossed. Really, I think this 565.11 area may end up being kind of the close today. That's kind of my gut. So I'll do this to say that I really think this recovery phase is going to come back into, this area right here by the end of the day. And then we have that lower low coming down here at 562, call it 30, 20, 27, 30, 562.30, let's call it. So we're really looking at a big downward crush pattern in the sense, just like I drew right here, probably ending around this 562 area, probably trying to find some support in this area, rolling into maybe a slight squeeze up to 564, maybe 565 by the end of the day, playing out very well. Now, remember, we had this. I was off on my range. So, and this happens when I try to guess at where price will be a week or 2 weeks into the future. Sometimes news events like what happened yesterday can, shift the price range. Remember, if you followed me back, what I called the Kamala crush pattern, that was a big surprise move with Biden moving out of the race and a big shift in the markets. And yeah, we saw the market shift away from the range that I had projected, but that's not uncommon. Okay. It happens when you get into big news days. The markets kind of move in a direction that they want to go based on the news. And like I said, we're still following the patterns, still expecting an upward move yesterday or tomorrow. Remember, tomorrow we get a little recovery rally right here. Pay attention here. Tomorrow we get a nice little reversal rally in trending mode, which I think will be a good solid move to the upside, probably up into this area tomorrow. So give you an example, I would say probably in this 570 to 572 area, kind of this area. And I would bet that we're going to have a nice little roll from this 561 up to this 568 to 572 area tomorrow on a reversal rally, leading to a bigger move next week. So again, pay attention, playing out very cleanly overall. Now, like I said, we're going to probably go through waves to the downside. So expect this to kind of roll downward through this morning. And I would imagine that by, lunchtime, 1 o'clock New York time, we're going to be trying to base bottom. So give you an example, right in this area, we're going to probably be trying to base bottom right in here. That's basically lunchtime, a little after lunchtime, New York. Okay, let's take a look at gold real quick. Was stalling out. Oh, this is 30-minute. Let's go back to daily. And wait for the data. We're looking at a Harami pattern. Beautiful little Harami pattern right here. Let me drag this down. Beautiful little Harami pattern right here, setting up very nice. There's the bullish bias that I've been telling you about. Metals are hedging risk. So you're looking at a real general melt up in metals. Okay. So even the downward moves, unless there's a panic, and I'll add that caveat, unless there's some big global panic that takes place through broad scoping nuclear weapons or who knows, some kind of a big global panic, then gold will continue to probably just melt upward up into the 2750 area, then eventually up to 3000 before the end of the year, which I believe is a very real possibility. Now, a panic is going to come in terms of some type of crisis event, and it'll be very sudden. And if we do get a panic, you could see gold move down, 5, 6, 7%, maybe more, before we get into some support like we had with COVID. So when you're talking about a downward panic event, you're talking about, maybe something like this, down 193 to 250 bucks, given where gold is right now. That would be kind of a panic flash crash type of event. And that can happen, guys. So you always have to be aware of it with gold and silver, which is why you never really want to try to hold positions overnight unless you're very confident that the markets are going to be trending the way you expect. So again, I don't expect a flash crash right now. I don't expect some sort of a panic event. The news, what's going on in Israel, does add a bit of a questionable factor, a chaos factor, but I don't think we're going to be crushing downward in gold right now. I think that we're going to meander through the end of this year and try to get through the election and see what ends up happening. Okay, Bitcoin, lastly. Bitcoin is moving downward again slightly. You can see here, we don't have any real downward pressure yet. We'll see how this plays out. Like I said, there's going to be, some moderate support. You can use Elliott wave here, or not Elliott wave, but Fibonacci to try to come in here. And you can see that we're just below the 382 level. That red line is the 382 level right here, just below the 382 level. The 50% level is right where I'm targeting, and the 618 level down here, this dark blue line, would be our basing bottoming level right in this area. So at this point, I think we're just going to meander, like I showed you, into a rolling base right over in this area, right around 50%, 618%, trying to stay pretty much in this range throughout the next couple of days as we're building a base. Okay, so real quickly, just wanted to give you a quick little update. We'll go back to the SPY here. I mean, it's down $1.50. It's down 0.25%. It's gonna move downward, folks. It's really gonna move much stronger to the downside. You can see here where we're at. And again, we do not have any big deep selling down into this area here. So come back out here to 30 minutes. I'm going to keep an eye on this. Oops. Spread this around a little. And remember, we do not have that big deep move yet. I mean, ideally, yeah, we've come all the way back down into these areas. Let me check the low here. Hold on. So the low here is 565.27. So that's down in this area already. Wow, that's all right. That's interesting in the sense that we've already established the low 565.27 right off of my 565.20. You can see this here. If I point right here, the low is 565.27. Well, guess what, guys? That matches my target low right here. So, and of course, so we're going to see how this plays out. I mean, essentially, the SPY has already targeted this low, meaning that the flush pattern may have already established its current level of support. Until it gets below this level, we need to see how it plays out. But look over here, if I come back to like a 5-minute, you're going to see this big selling and rotation. So here you go. Opened here, big selling down into that 565.25 area, and then the roll back up here. Now, this is a 5-minute chart compared, don't want to draw. So, ideally, guys, what we're looking at here is this rolling pattern is early support. And again, back up into this area, failure to close this gap will indicate that we have more downward trending potentially down into this 562 area. So I'm not suggesting this is a bottom yet. It's very interesting to see this move off this 560 520 area and this support. But again, we have got to stay and we really got to watch how price reacts right around this gapping level. I'm going to draw a line right here. So here's the gap high or low in this case. And we need to stay below that level, in my opinion, for us to continue to get lower. If we get above this level a little bit, fill this gap, yeah, okay, let's see what happens. But again, we're really kind of watching this area, 568, 569, as kind of resistance up here to continue to prompt this downward move of the crush pattern. Very interesting early support right here. I mean, this is really, I would say that this could be a base bottom of the crush pattern. The crush pattern may have happened yesterday. We could be moving into that early reversal pattern, but let's see what happens. We'd have to get above this level, 567, let's call it 568, really close this gap, which is 568.40, almost 568.50. And in order to close that gap and rally back out of it, that would be an early start to this reversal pattern, this reversal rally setting up tomorrow. And that would be essentially giving up the fact that all of yesterday was really the crush pattern. The news carried the crush yesterday, and we are going to have moderate trending downward today. So again, I'm letting it play out, but we do have some interesting trading going on here. I would still be holding for these downward moves. So hypothetically, right over in this area, this is another chance to get into shorts right here with a stop up above it, 568. You're going to be looking for a downward trend back down into this 562 area, 564 area. Okay, guys, there's your little update for now. I'll try to keep you abreast of what's going on, and certainly looks interesting with what the markets are doing today. So Dow Jones is up, NASDAQ is down, S&P is down, UK is up, dollars back up to 101, Japanese Nikkei is up, German index is down, the DAX, Bitcoin is holding up around 61 grand, oil is up to 75, which, yeah, that happens with war and conflict, and of course, gold is nice and flat today. So let's see what happens. Let's let it play out.